Hopefully we'll be back.
My son is already. It's not recording.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Verse 8, he says, "Therefore, wait for me, declares the Lord, for the day I will stand up to testify. I have decided to assemble the nations, to gather the kingdoms, to pour out my wrath."
I don't think Arun's gonna be here for sound today.
You're supposed to start at 8.
Yeah, but I'm late for breakfast. Oh wow, it's just perfect timing. Hey everybody, how's it going? It's been quite busy recently. Lots of different things have been going on. And since the last video, we've had another Kingdom Come event where I had the privilege of doing the lights. We finished the Old Testament. There's been a prayer day that was amazing and a prayer burn throughout the night after. This video here is just a time lapse from a moment during prayer day where we had some time to create with God. At first I didn't really know what I was making, but God said to make a jar covered in different papers and a heart in the middle. I started, and for some reason I didn't really make it properly. Like, I knew the order of what I needed to do, but I didn't follow it. It was funny actually. But so like when I thought I'd finished, God said it's not finished. So I drew the heart inside with the marker, and I also glued a heart inside too. And it hit me that it was in reference to Ezekiel 36:26, where it's like, and I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit in you. This is a verse where like God is revealing his redemptive plan for his people, Israel. And it's because they haven't been able to obey the Lord, and they've chosen to rebel against him. And now that they're in exile, they're facing the consequences that God had promised a long time ago before they even went into exile, like back when Moses wrote Deuteronomy. And the promise within that promise was actually that from that they'd return back to their land. And in this specific passage in Ezekiel, God is speaking through Ezekiel that he will do this and will remain faithful to the promise. Not only that, but he will replace their stubborn hearts and give them tender ones, and he will put his spirit in them so that they can follow him. And it was this jar was such a wonderful and visible representation for me. Like, here I am with all these different parts glued together to form who I am, and a heart that isn't fully receptive to God, but God has made my heart soft, and he has put his spirit in me so that I might know him more and follow his ways. This jar was also kind of a reminder of how God looks at the heart. He sees through those layers and actually sees the heart most clearly. He sees my heart and he sees our hearts all together. And since we finished the Old Testament, we also started looking at the Gospels. It's clear that those people who weren't deaf or lame or poor had stubborn hearts and weren't able to receive who Jesus really was. And it's been my prayer over the last few days for God to open my blind eyes and deaf ears and to make my heart soft, to be receptive to him. You know, he's God, and for me to ignore him is kind of proof of my stubborn heart and proof of my habits that I've made against him, and proof that I am self-centered. Like, not to be harsh on myself, but just to like speak the truth, you know. And many people are suffering in this world, and all I can think about or talk to God about is what I want from life. So he's changing me and moving me, you know, he's faithful. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this week. I hope you find the word somewhat encouraging. Hopefully in the coming week I'll be able to send out a clear update of what's going on. In the meantime, I'll be learning more about Jesus this week, because it's Jesus week. And I hope and pray that you guys all continue to grow in the Spirit and become more and more like the image of God. See you soon.